welcome to another Watcher of Realms video, and in this video I am going to be running through the Immortal Codex, and this is going to be the Solkadens one. I actually generally always forget the names of it. It is going to be called Hellfire Emperor, as you can see on the screen, and it is the one for the tanks. As you can see, I did score top 1% with my team, but I did make an epic team that can pretty much score almost the same as my 1% team. That has just got a couple of legendaries in there. I think I can get a slightly better team just from working it out. But basically the way Hellfire works is pretty simple. You take your tanks in and you only score points when you are blocking your enemies. The enemies will go down a trail. They'll spawn in this top corner here, and this top corner here, this bottom corner here, and this bottom corner here. And they'll just go through, and then they'll meet in the middle, and they'll go up to the Hellfire Emperor, and they'll buff his damage as they get through. So the longer the fight goes on, the less you block letting enemies through, the more the Hellfire Emperor, aka Solkadens, will get buffed and do damage to your team. Now, as you block them, they take like 111k damage per tick, and that's how you do damage. Basic attacks, anything like ultimates, any kind of attack that the character has only does 1 damage. Massive negation, so the only way you can stop them is block. So blocking characters is the best thing, and I've figured out a full epic only team to be able to beat this and get triple S. You obviously have to have good tank gear. We'll talk about that in a second, but this is the team I've built. As you can see, all epics, all quite accessible characters. I think you can still make Livian as a character. Rox is the hardest to come by because he is the newest, so you might not have him to A5. I think you need to get him to A3 if we check his thing, or is it A1? It is 1. It says increases block by 1 during the invincibility period after triggering Granite Ward. Basically, you just need as much block as possible. And right now we have 4 block on every single character, except this character has 5 block. Avelin's the goat. No pun intended, she has got 4 legs, but she is more of a horse. But these 2 characters also give block when you do their ultimate, and as does Rox here. So what we want to do is have 3 of the characters on each side of the map. We also want to have them push forward as far as possible, because this team will last until right at the end. And as you only score points when you block, you want to be blocking as quickly as possible to start scoring points quickly. And then you need to equalize the balance of the block on both sides, so you don't let loads through on one side. Basically, that's how we're going to do it. So as these 2 characters over here, Oleg and Isolde, are basically the same character in terms of they both block 4, and then they block 1 extra when they do their ultimates. We're going to separate them and have them as the first character on each side. Then we've got Avelin, who is the highest block character here. So we'll have her on one of their sides as well. And then we'll also have Rox on the opposite side, because he's the only other character remaining who can increase his block at any time. And he can do that via his skill set. These 2 characters only have set block of 4. If you have someone like Crodor, he can also do what Rox does. I think there are other tanks that can as well. You can just look into their Trusk, I think, can. Obviously, he's not going to get Northerner bonus, so it will have to be very well geared. But you can get characters that have high block. We're just going to look into epics at the moment, and I'm going to just place it down and walk through the team and just show you how it works. So as you see the boss spawn. You're going to see these pits kind of spawn in the top right. I think at first it's only the top right and top left that spawn, but we will get them down in the bottom right and bottom left. And I'm just going to put Oleg and Isolde as the first line of defense on each side. And the reason we do it really high up, because I think originally the old strat was putting it really far back. It just takes a longer time for the enemy to get to you to be able to block them to start scoring points. And if you're lasting the entire length of the fight, you want to be able to block them as soon as possible to start scoring as soon as possible. Now we're going to split up Avelin, and we're going to split up Rox. Now, in terms of which way you want to face them, you could try and face them the opposite way that they are going to be attacked from, because as you know, the way tanks work, you block the way people run into you, so they're going to run into you from above, but you also block the way you're facing, and they can kind of latch on to the people behind them. If you want to try and get like every minuscule, you could face these guys the opposite way too. We will do that with these characters. We've got Rox here on the right hand side kind of balancing out, and it doesn't really matter about these last 2 characters. Basically they're going to just be the last blocks. And what we want to do is we'll just times 2, And this first phase is fine. We should be able to get through it too much of a problem. You can see I'm only doing damage when I'm blocking. Those one hits that are coming up are just the attacks my characters are doing. And the blocks will just come in. And we need to just get it down to 0% to start the actual fight so we can get the score. Your time does run down in the meantime, so it's another good reason to put them as far forward as possible, because we want to get through this 100% part as quickly as possible. And that should be it. And now I'll just slow it down a bit, because I want to explain why and when we're going to use ultimates. There's a set amount of enemies that come out of both the portals combined, and it's the same on each side. So I'm not exactly sure how many come out at first. 6, 8. So it looks like 8 enemies come out at first. So effectively you've got 8 blocks. So my first 2 characters on both sides should be able to kind of deal with this. Or is it 9? It looks like 9 actually. So you can see 1 has got to my last tank on the right hand side. None have got to my last tank on the left hand side. This is because Aveline does have that extra block. What I need to do is keep an eye on the last tank's block. If that gets above their minimum, people will start getting through, and that's the wave I need to start using Isolde, and I need to start using Olag on. So the next wave here, 2 should get through and get to Livian. Then the wave after that will be 3. Then the wave after that will be 4, and that's her maximum, and that's when I need to start using Isolde's ultimate. Otherwise, we'll start getting enemies get through, and it's eventually going to happen regardless, but we want to try and limit it as much as possible. So I just times 2 a little bit. We'll wait until we get to the phase when we've got 4 enemies on Livian. So right now it should be 3. And on the other side, you can see it is 2. You have seen Aveline has latched onto the one behind her, which is fine. And then this is the one where Livian should have 4. There can be a bit of a timing issue just because of, you know, how long it can take for the enemies to disappear. But it looks good. It looks good. In this case, we're only doing 55k damage. So you can see, I'll pause it. You can see there's 4 enemies here. And on the other side, there's going to be 3. There will be 3 eventually. So the next wave, when 1 enemy gets added, Livian won't be able to tank those 5. So we need to tank 1 extra at the beginning. So we'll do Isolde's ult with the next wave as the enemies start going through. You can see there's 4 down the bottom. So we're going to do Isolde. We're not going to do Olag's because we have the extra block on that side. We have to wait until enough enemies are around Isolde, otherwise we're using it too early. And that'll be about now. So we use Isolde's ult. Now she's blocking 5. You saw that one come back. And now she should have 4 on her still down the bottom once these ones get taken out. We'll focus on the left-hand side now. Now we've got the 4 enemies on this side. And I know the next wave, we're going to have to use Olag's ultimate to increase that block by 1 so that we can block extra. Now you can periodically block with Draga or whoever you have in that bottom left-hand corner as often as you want. I'm going to do Olag's ultimate now. So right now. And then on this side, we know that Rox can increase his block. 1 still will sneak through, but we'll do Rox's ult just as he gets a bit overwhelmed, which is about now, because then we can latch onto someone new. And 1 should sneak through on this right-hand side. Actually, it might be 2, just because we did decrease main block and increase secondary block. But I think it's going to be 1. It is going to be 1. And then from here on outwards, you're just going to do Isolde and Olag's ultimate the second they are up, and it looks like they've got enough enemies around them to instantly block. 1 didn't actually get through by the looks of things. We got kind of lucky with the timing. So we could use Isolde's ults. And then we're going to get people sneak through almost definitely on the left and the right this time. The fact we didn't have 1 sneak through on the right-hand side means we just got really lucky with the timing. I'm going to use her ultimate just because. Now, we're not going to use Olag's because he won't be able to latch on to anyone new. So we're going to have people sneak through. It's just part of the game. And then this next wave, we will have extras latch on. So we'll do his ult. And we'll do Rox's ult. It might have been because of the chain stuns from Livian. Might have just slowed people down enough that someone died in time. So we'll do his. Now, I could do hers, but I don't know if we're going to actually get someone with it, so it's a waste. So you can see lots of damage get taken. Sometimes you can have just a bit of randomness and people die, but it's just kind of the way it is. But as long as we get to the triple S, we're good. So we're going to use Draeger's ult. We're going to use her ult now. And then that's pretty much it. We've got the Triple S. We're 20 seconds away. We can hit auto ult. Whatever pops up can pop up. But people will start dying because he's just been massively buffed. He's been massively buffed. So his damage output is massive now. I think I'm scoring close to what I did last time. I think I got 189. But with my main team, I think this might actually be my main team. Maybe just about 198. This could be a new record. It would be kind of hilarious if I'm just outscored my main team, which has Cyrus on it and stuff. I know, it didn't. Okay, but still, 198 is pretty good. Well, I think that's pretty much a top 1% team. Because if we look at my score, I am in the top 1%. And then if we look at my battle history, my 1% team is 199, and this is a 198. So I'm going to call this a 1% epic team. And it's very durable. You can see this doesn't really mean much. You can actually see she did actually quite a lot of damage. I think it's because she spams her ult and she does 1,308 ultimate hits effectively with her basic attack. That's actually kind of crazy. The amount of chain stun she gets is really good. Now I'll go over the gear on the characters. I don't really have to look too much at them. I'll just go over the gear really on one. Every single character has a maxed out Bastion's ring, and this just gives extra block. This is really important. But you don't have to have it maxed out. You just have to have your character wearing a Bastion's ring. The most important part of a Bastion's ring is this part. When deployed, increases block by 1. If you don't have that, you've got a lot of trouble, basically. That's what you're kind of aiming for. If someone has a personal artifact, you can equip that if it gives block, like Brokir does. I think Trusk, I heard, does as well. Maybe Crodor as well, I'm not sure. But make sure it says, when deployed, increases block by 1. Bastion's ring always does. The other part does get improved as you upgrade it, and it does obviously help you survive, but it isn't required like the increase to block is. It will just let you survive longer in the fight, and yeah, sure, probably score a little bit higher, but you're definitely going to score lower if you don't have that extra block, is what I'm saying. So have 6 Bastion's rings. When you get more, start upgrading those Bastion's rings. Don't have one at tier 5 and then another one at tier 0 and then no more Bastion's rings. You're never going to do very well there. Every character is pretty much the same when it comes to this. The artifacts, like I said. Now, when it comes to their gear, I do primarily try and look for HP bonus as the main stat on the right-hand side, because the healing the character gets is based off of their max HP. They're just going to periodically get more healing, but the damage they take is not. So they're going to take a higher percentage of damage if they've got lower HP, basically. Defense bonus is secondary. Attack speed and rage regen, so I can get their ults out more often. Attack speed will help them gain rage. Rage regen just helps them gain rage passively. And then on the left-hand side, defense bonus, HP bonus, attack speed, and flat HP pretty much are the main stats. Same for the other piece. You want HP bonus, defense bonus, attack speed. You want to try and get as much attack speed as you possibly can. So if you can see on this character right now, you can see I've got lots of extra HP, a bit of extra defense, a little bit of extra attack speed, which is pretty good for a tank, and a little bit of extra rage regen. This is just so I can spam ults more often. I can definitely get them off on the extra wave when I need to. And then obviously max skilled, max artifact when you can, max awakened. These are only epics. If you have legendaries, you can switch them in. But this team guide should hopefully improve your score for the Hellfire Emperor. As you can see, I got top 1% with epics only. It's definitely doable. And obviously, the higher percentage you come, the better rewards you're going to get. Best of luck with your new runs on Hellfire Emperor. Hopefully this has been useful. Thank you very much for tuning in. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.